Welcome to Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. I'm Mike Leafa.
And I'm Lena Kefame.
And we are back at it again with another deep dive into a trend that kind of took the world by storm. And then, poof, vanished.
Yeah, it's wild how these things grab hold of everyone's attention for like a minute and then just gone, like they never happened.
And today's subject is a prime example of that. We're going back to the 90s, the land of grunge and dial-up internet.
Oh, yeah, I remember dial-up, the screeching sound.
The good old days. But what we're really here to talk about is JNCO jeans.
JNCO.
Yeah, pronounced JNCO. You know those jeans?
Oh, right, those crazy wide-legged things. I remember seeing those everywhere back then.
Everywhere.
Like walking around was an obstacle course with those giant pant legs.
And that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. The rise and fall of JNCO jeans.
Mm-hmm.
How they went from a niche thing to like this massive cultural phenomenon and then basically disappeared. So let's rewind a bit. JNCO, believe it or not, wasn't some overnight fad. The brand was actually founded way back in 1985. Yeah, 85. By two brothers, Haim Milo and Jacques Yakov Riva. And get this, they were born in Morocco, raised in France, and ended up in Los Angeles.
Wow, talk about a global backstory for a pair of jeans.
Right, it was like their life journey was already a trend in the making. Globe-trotting chic. But anyway, they were really inspired by the wide leg styles that were popular in East LA's Latino communities.
Right.
But instead of just like copying that style,
They took it to the extreme.
they took it to a whole other level. And that's how JNCO was born.
Bold move, I gotta say.
Yeah.
To basically launch a brand that says regular pants. Yeah, no thanks.
Exactly. But that was kind of their whole thing, right? Judge none, choose one.
Oh, right, the acronym.
Yeah, embracing individuality, being different, all that.
Though I did read somewhere that it might have just stood for Jeans Company.
Really?
Yeah, which is kind of funny. Way less deep and meaningful, but hey, who knows?
That's the thing with these deep dives, right? There's always more to the story. Like an iceberg of denim history.
Iceberg of denim, I like that.
And in JNCO's case, it wasn't just about the marketing. They had a secret weapon.
Oh,
Their parent company, Revitex.
what about it?
They were already in the denim business.
So,
Back then, most brands had to rely on overseas manufacturers for their jeans, meaning long wait times to get new stock.
right.
Revitex, they had their own factory right there in LA.
No way.
Yeah, pumping out jeans in like 8 weeks flat.
Wow. So they were fast fashion before fast fashion was even a thing.
Exactly.
Right.
And they knew how to use that speed to their advantage. When they launched JNCO in 1993, they debuted it in those merry-go-round stores.
Merry-go-round.
Yeah, you remember those?
Vaguely. They were like the place to get all the edgy clothes, right?
Pretty much. But here's the thing, merry-go-round actually went bankrupt in the early 90s.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not exactly a good sign for a new brand, right?
Really?
But it actually worked out perfectly for JNCO.
How so?
Because when a store goes bankrupt, what happens?
Everything goes on sale.
Exactly. Liquidation sales. All their JNCO stock was suddenly in smaller boutiques at bargain prices.
Oh, I see. So it's like they accidentally seeded the trend in all the right places.
Bingo.
Mhm.
Fashion wildfire sparked by a going out of business sale.
And I bet this was all happening right when youth culture was exploding, too.
You are absolutely right. Skaters, ravers, anyone who wanted to stand out from the crowd,
JNCO was like the uniform for rebellion.
pretty much. And those giant pant legs were like a giant middle finger to conformity.
But JNCO didn't just ride that wave. They were smart about fueling it.
Oh, yeah.
They were like the masters of what we'd call guerrilla marketing today. Instead of fancy ads, they hired graffiti artists to paint near high schools.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
They sponsored skaters, breakdancers. They knew how to get those jeans in front of the right people.
They were like the original influencers before influencers were even a thing.
Exactly.
They understood coolness currency before it was even a currency.
It's like they could see the future of marketing.
And it worked. By the mid-90s, JNCO was the jean to have. The crazy leg openings, some of them 36 inches wide, those massive back pockets with the embroidered JNCO crown.
It was like wearing a billboard for 90s counterculture.
You know, it's funny you mentioned billboard, because it kind of ties into another one of their marketing tactics. They'd give free jeans to bands like Limp Bizkit. They'd hook up DJs at raves. It was all about associating JNCO with what was hot in music, with what was pushing boundaries.
Smart move. Tap into where your audience already is, and you don't need traditional advertising.
Exactly. And by 1998, they were everywhere. Kohl's, JCPenney, even Pacific Sunwear.
Pacific Sunwear. Wait a minute. Isn't that the store we now associate with the death of trends?
You got it. That PacSun effect you always talk
Sure.
about.
Okay.
It's like a pattern, right? A brand starts out niche, edgy, all cool and underground. Then it hits the mainstream,
Everyone's wearing it.
and suddenly, not cool anymore.
Yeah, because if your mom can buy it at the mall, it kind of loses its rebel cred.
Exactly. And that's definitely part of what happened to JNCO. But we'll dive deeper into that in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Plus, fashion is fickle. What's cool one day is totally over the next.
Totally.
And by the late 90s, early 2000s, slimmer silhouettes were making a comeback. Bootcut jeans.
Like the opposite of JNCO's.
The JNCO
It
killer.
was like the battle of the pant legs,
Yeah.
and JNCO with all that extra fabric
Yeah.
was destined to lose.
And then you had the whole knockoff situation.
Oh, yeah. Everyone and their mom was making wide-leg jeans.
Once JNCO hit it big, everyone wanted a piece of that wide-legged pie.
It's like that saying, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Right.
But in the business world, it's more like imitation is the fastest way to tank your brand.
Seriously, you had cheap imitations everywhere, and that just dilutes what made the original special.
And for a brand like JNCO, that was built on standing out, being different.
Yeah.
That was a death blow.
Plus all those knockoffs. Logistical nightmare.
Oh yeah, imagine trying to protect your intellectual property when every street vendor is selling a bootleg version of your jeans.
Total chaos.
And the numbers tell the story. By 1999, JNCO's sales had plummeted by 50%.
Ouch.
What goes up?
Must come down.
And for JNCO, that meant closing their main factory in 2000.
Wow, so from the hottest trend to closing up shop in just a few years.
It's a crazy reminder that even the biggest trends can fizzle out fast.
Faster than you can say, where'd all those pant legs go?
Exactly.
But wait, that's not the end of the story, is it?
Oh, you mean the comeback attempts?
Yeah, because everything old is new again, right?
Right.
And in 2015, there was a little glimmer of hope for JNCO.
The nostalgia factor.
Powerful stuff.
So did it work? Did the world embrace those leather pants again?
Well, let's just say the comeback wasn't quite as dramatic as the original rise.
Nah.
They tried reintroducing some classic styles, tried to tap into that 90s revival that was happening.
So was it just bad timing? Or is there something about a brand like JNCO that makes a true comeback almost impossible?
Tough question. And it gets even more interesting when you consider that the original founder, Milo Riva, he actually reacquired the brand in 2019 and aimed for another relaunch.
So 2 comeback attempts in a pretty short time span. Seems like they see something in the market, some kind of demand.
Yeah.
But the question is, can a brand built on rebellion really survive mainstream success?
Can you recapture that magic once it's been, mass-produced and sold everywhere?
It's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
Twice.
Yeah, it really makes you think,
It does.
like how do you bottle that lightning, especially when everyone's already seen it?
Right. Rebellion is all about being outside the mainstream. So once you become the mainstream...
You've kind of lost your edge. It's
Exactly.
like you can't sell anti-establishment vibes at the mall food court.
Exactly. And yet, here we are. 90s trends are back in a big way.
Yeah, baggy jeans, crop tops, even those platform shoes are back.
It's like a time warp.
So maybe it's not about JNCO specifically, but more about like this cyclical nature of fashion. Like we're nostalgic for a time when things felt less serious,
Yeah, maybe. I think there's also something to be said for a brand that's truly unique.
like JNCO.
Yeah, even if those giant jeans never fully come back. They definitely left their mark on fashion history.
They weren't afraid to be different,
They pushed boundaries.
and they gave a whole generation a way to express themselves.
Sometimes that's enough, right?
Yeah, even if the brand itself fades away, the impact, the memory, it stays with you.
Think about it. Even if you never wore JNCOs, you knew what they were.
They were part of the 90s landscape,
Absolutely. They were iconic.
even if they were also kind of ridiculous.
You couldn't help but stare when you saw someone walking down the street in those things.
It was like a fashion spectacle.
A conversation starter for sure.
And maybe that's the real legacy of JNCO,
Yeah.
to remind us that fashion can be fun,
Yeah.
it can be outrageous, it can be a way to challenge the norms.
Even if it means tripping over your own pants sometimes.
You love them or hate them.
Love them or hate them. JNCO jeans were a true original,
They dared to be different.
and that's worth celebrating.
Absolutely. So to all you listeners out there who rocked a pair of JNCOs back in the day, we salute you.
And to those who have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, consider yourselves lucky that you didn't have to navigate the world with 50-inch leg openings.
Or try to fit through a doorway.
Right.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the wild world of JNCO jeans.
Until next time, keep it stylish.
But maybe leave the super wide legs in the past.
See ya, DM.